Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
On this week's episode of Bros, Foes, and Heroes, we have a reprint as we take a look back at a previous episode where Mike and I dove into some absolute just Silver Age shenanigans involving everybody's DC favorites. The Flash, Superman, Batman, Superboy even makes an appearance. Just a bunch of zany, crazy, fun stories for us to dive into this week, as it makes 3 years that we've been doing the podcast. So, yeah. Make sure to go back and check out all the other great episodes, more like these, of just absolutely zany and crazy things. So, without further ado, here's some DC Silver Age shenanigans, and we get it started off with The Flash and dehydrated potatoes.
Frozen, frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen, frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Fat Flash, Bat Baby, and other Silver Age shenanigans.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by Mace. Oh, sorry. No, I'm joined by Mike. So our first adventure we're going to get to comes from The Flash, number 115. Interesting thing I found out from this book, too. So The Flash, which we never got into the origin of the original Flash. The original Flash, Jay Garrick, created back in the early 40s, became the Flash from hard water, vaporized hard water.
What?
Yes. That is how he became able to run super fast. You know, sometimes if you live in a place with not so great water, if you just vaporized it and huffed it, apparently in the 40s you could run really fast.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. Well, that's when they still had the heavy metals in the
exactly.
water.
I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying according to 1940s comic book logic, that's how you become the Flash. But that comic had ended, and DC had come back with this idea of what they called DC Showcase for a new book, and they were just introducing new stories every week.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember who the writer was. It might have been Carmine Infantino. I feel like I'm wrong. I'm attributing whoever it was at the time.
How dare you get that wrong?
I know. Ooh. Was bringing up that, hey, I'm going to bring back the Flash. Okay. And so when they brought it back, they just continued his numbering from the original run.
Oh, really? Oh,
so wow. Flash always seems like it keeps going. Yeah. Huh. So it picked it up when it finally got its own series. It picked up with like issue number 100 and something, or like 70 something. So this was from 1960. I'll start with our earliest. Yeah. I was going to just go in chronological order for these, but there's something in the Batman book that was just too good. I had to wait till the end. So we're moving a little bit out of it. All right. But we have The Flash featuring the Flash number 115 from September of 1960 is the newsstand date on this. And it's The Flash featuring the day Flash weighed 1,000 pounds.
1,000.
So that's the story here, and our cover shows
my 1,000-pound
Flash going from very skinny to very big.
I can hardly run.
And that's also how we see.
Oh my God, he's so big.
It sets it up here, but he tells him, he's like, "What do you have in your hand?"
Wait, who's
and
he
Flash
fighting
says,
here? Who is this guy?
It's a dude named Dawson's his last name. I'll explain. It's not. It doesn't matter who the dude is. Well, I'll explain more who this guy is in a second.
He's just bald, and he's got like a laser gun kind of thing.
Yeah, and then extremely large Flash is holding a needle, right? Is like a weapon.
I love how the needle is like, it's so shiny.
It is. So it's kind of teasing you of what's coming in this issue. But then we transfer over to Gorilla City.
Gorilla City.
Now, we've talked about Gorilla Grodd before.
Come
he's a
to
Flash
beautiful
villain
downtown
where he's
Gorilla
an extremely smart, a genius level gorilla, right?
Yeah.
And he was constantly escaping out of prison. So the Flash and
There's something I really like about that genius gorilla. I don't know what it is.
That's fine. But the chieftain of Gorilla City and the people built and Flash built like an impenetrable fort that they wouldn't be able for him to escape.
Yeah.
He's so smart. He uses stuff that he's able to gather from the ground.
Sure.
Don't know how.
Yeah. No, it's
but
great. He's a gorilla.
He's able to create a pill that once he takes it, when he dies, his body will be dead. But according to my calculations, this pill will make me collapse. Then at the instant I die, my mind and memory will leave me and enter some other living being.
Oh.
It's a terrible risk. He goes about how I could wind up in the body of a fish or in a mountain lion or a bird. Yeah. But it's better than being stuck in this unescapable prison.
Sure.
So he does it.
Which is made of glass.
He collapses. The guards notice that he's dead. So they're like, oh, we should tell Flash that Gorilla Grodd's dead then, since he's always interested in what's going on there.
I love that he's just on the phone.
Yeah.
Like
so he picks up a phone and he calls Flash on like his gamma wave. I don't remember how they describe it. It's not an actual phone and it involves like wavelengths. I don't know. But they tell him like, hey, Gorilla Grodd's dead.
Yeah.
So they talk about, they figure out. We then are cut to this man on the street. And all of a sudden it says, he's like leaning up, kind of collapsed up against the wall here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I made it. I'm alive. Me, Grodd. And I'm a human, but who am I?
Oh.
And he shuffles through his papers and he sees that his name is William Dawson.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So can you give me just elevator pitch here? Why does Gorilla Grodd hate the Flash? What's the thing there? Either one of you. No idea? Really?
I haven't read early
I'm just
Flash
wondering.
enough.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Why do they hate each other?
I just know he's always been a villain. I don't know what the core of it is.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's in a way like, why is the core reason that Joker's a Batman villain?
Sure. Well, that was never... I mean, he was just a gangster, right?
Well, in a way, but I think in a lot of instances, it's just always kind of left, like the big ones. Like, we know that Lex Luthor always just wants to seem like the smartest and like the, best person around. It's just simple narcissism.
But I mean, Gorilla Grodd has always gone up against the Flash, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he started somewhere else.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
No. You're good. You're good. Well, that's for another day. But I'm just saying.
I'll try to work on
I would
an
love
answer
to
for
know
you.
that relationship.
So Gorilla Grodd has transformed into this William Dawson guy, and he goes because William Dawson.
A lot of Lex Luthor lookalikes here.
Yes, exactly. But he pulls out. He also notices a piece of paper that he's essentially has like a job to go to, like a job interview, and he shows up, and it's for a circus.
Thank God that was in his pocket, huh?
Right? And he shows up, and it's a circus, and it's to help with the animals. He's like, I'm looking for an animal wrangler. I got a chimp act, but the chimp act don't work.
Okay.
That's essentially what he's saying. He's like, one of the bucket guys doesn't get it.
Well, it's the monkeys, and they're all trying to dump
out the fire, and they're dumping the water, and one of them just dumps it on the monkey.
Yeah.
Well, William Dawson goes over to the monkey, and he talks to him as a monkey because obviously he's Gorilla Grodd, so he can speak the same language.
Okay.
And so they understand. He gets it right, and the guy's like, "Wow, you're hired. You're going to be our animal wrangler, essentially."
You're hired.
Well, Gorilla Grodd gets bored of just working there, so he takes his band of monkeys, and they go on a robbing spree. So they start stealing things until they're caught by the Flash, and he realizes, hey, all these monkeys here. They trace them down to the circus, and he tells them, yeah, my monkeys were missing. Also, the guy, William Dawson, we just hired, is missing too. I don't know if he's associated with it, but he's gone as well.
They will not stop jumping on the bed.
He realizes, Grodd realizes that the Flash is interfering with his plans, so he creates this gun.
Can I reference this real quick? How the Flash's suit comes out of a ring?
Yeah, it always comes
on his hand. Is that always been a thing?
It's going to be in the new movie too. They showed this scene. I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah, it's been it for a while.
That's really odd.
No, it's popped out of it. Remember, even
It's so tiny though.
Even the black and yellow hideous one with shorts that Frank Miller did popped out of the ring. Remember?
Yeah. No, I don't remember that.
Okay,
this is the first time I remember it popping out of a ring.
It's always been.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. I'm just getting history on things as we go here.
Maybe we need to talk about Flash more.
Well,
then.
I've never been a big Flash whatever. I was
I'm not
never
either.
like a DC guy, honestly. Wolverine was always my favorite. Because you mentioned how much you don't like Wolverine.
Was he really?
He was one of my favorites, yeah. I learned to draw using
Mike.
Wolverine.
Wolverine can suck it.
Yeah, probably. Using Wolverine and Spider-Man comics. That's how I learned to draw.
Really?
I just started tracing and then finally started doing it on my own. Yeah.
I'm trying. You want to know something that's kind of, even though I'm 34 years old, I'm trying to learn to draw right now too. Yeah.
You can. It's definitely a taught skill. I mean, you can learn. Yeah. The one I remember that I had on my wall was the one. It's a yellow cover with Wolverine just holding up his claws in front of it. This is probably 85,
I know which one.
86.
You want me to
like
tell
that,
you something?
maybe.
There's a good chance that Frank Miller wrote that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the story. I just remember the cover. I couldn't tell you which Spider-Man I had, but there was one on the wall too.
No, I know which one. I have a couple. I don't think I have that one.
Also, while he's looking that up, Mason, you ever read Camelot 3000?
I read something about that recently. Is it that one?
Yep, that's it.
And no, the Claremont Wolverine. No, I have never read Camelot 3000. I want to maybe at some point.
I always loved that. I liked the story. I thought it was really good.
I'm sorry, not writer. Yeah, Claremont wrote it.
Yeah, and
Frank Miller was the artist on
Oh,
it.
was he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it was.
Back when his art was really popping off.
Yeah, that one was hanging on my wall in a bag.
This is 82.
Yeah.
He's working on that. He's working on Daredevil.
Ooh-wee.
This is right before he does Ronin, which
So I was 11.
dude, that book I've read, I wish I would have listened to it before. We had talked about
You talk about a sweet spot
Ronin
for
a
kid,
little bit
11.
of how
Well, I'm just saying 11
for
with
sure.
comic books. Yeah,
Oh,
it's the perfect age.
But we talked a little bit about Ronin when we talked about our Frank Miller episodes when we
Mm-hmm.
did those back to back about how it was big for the industry.
Yeah.
But listening to that Slugfest book, they talk about it was big just because it kind of led them down the graphic novel path of like, hey, we could do this.
Wait, what is
it wasn't necessarily Ronin itself.
When
Yeah,
you said
it's not-
Slugfest earlier, I thought you were talking about a comic book.
No,
this is a book
It's a book
about the two about DC and Marvel.
Oh, it's a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's the issue of Mr. Miracle. I didn't know about this that I found of where Mr. Miracle is essentially trying to be swindled out of everything that he makes as an escape artist by a guy named Funky Flash, who oddly looks a lot like Stan Lee, who even has like a butler around his house called House Roy, who was
House Roy.
then Stan Lee, looks like it was supposed to be then Stan Lee's assistant, Roy Thomas.
Oh, wow.
And it is just complete satire
Ooh, it's an
and
audio
just
book.
makes fun. I'm listening to it as well. It's really, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. I've enjoyed it a lot.
And they are right. Ronin's a good book.
At least at the time it sold, but it didn't, but with that, so like, this Mr. Miracle book is just poking so much fun out of it. And you find out from like this book, this is one of the stories told is it's like Jack Kirby had just left Marvel and
Yeah, so he was
there was a
very
fallout at Marvel.
salty.
And I found out from reading something else, like what it's based off of. I can put it together when you hear the story, but it's because of how he felt at Marvel. And like years later, he apologized to Roy Thomas for it. And Roy was like, it's fine. I'm over it. But like Stan's deeply hurt by this. And it was something they would have to get, like he would have to apologize to Stan about before he went back and worked at Marvel, I think too.
I really hope those two made up before Jack passed. I heard they did. I hope they did.
But so it essentially what it caused it was at the time a history of Marvel comics had come out, and essentially Stan single-handedly had taken credit for creating like all the characters they had done together, and Kirby was just so like everything I read is Kirby was nice guys. I mean he always seemed like a bit of a gruff guy, but he always seemed at least that he did the right thing in a lot of instances. I read how I'm getting off on a tangent and I'm just kind of looking at Mason doing this, but how
Doing all good.
Vince Coletta was one of his inkers on the New God stuff, and he like stole some of his pages and leaked it to Marvel of this new stuff he's working on. And Jack was still so worried about taking another man's paycheck because he grew up in, like the Depression and stuff like that, that it was just like, he's just not working on my new God stuff anymore. And they just put him on like the Jimmy Olsen stuff he was working on instead.
Wow.
Like he couldn't even fire a guy stealing his own stuff. Yeah. So
and to be fair, when Stan made those claims, it was kind of up, Stan. Mm-hmm. And I love Stan, but like, damn, that was messed up.
And then it seems like ever since he did that, it's been at least the time until Kirby passed, a lot of like, oh no, we made it together. Or it's like, if Jack wants to say he did, then he did. Like it was a lot of, but anyway, there's a lot of interesting stories in that.
One last fun thing before you finish your thing. Funky Flash, I know you said, and you'll hear this on Wednesday, people, Funky Flash, it does appear in Mr. Miracle.
Yes. I know that too. Oh, I'm looking forward to that so much. We're going to talk about that after I get done reading it too.
I just downloaded the book, so I will be better informed.
I will tell you, it's like what, 12 hours?
10 hours.
10 hours?
10 hours, 44 minutes.
I have 2 hours left.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah.
And I have enjoyed it all. So back to the Flash. Gorilla Grodd as William Dawson, the human, decides, hey, Flash is messing with my plans. I'm going to create a gun to finally take care of him forever. And it essentially, do you want the science of it, or do you just not? I'm not going to get into it.
It's fine. What's the science? Come on.
Fine.
Give me the science.
Here he goes. As the ultra cunning gorilla mind labors over some stolen scientific equipment, this instrument involving startling new scientific principles will be just the thing to rid me of my pesky I cannot read enemy forever. He tells him, where was it at? Here we go. Oh, he only brought about it. Does he not give the science to it? I thought he did.
It's just a gun, man. You don't know why this gorilla hates this dude, and it's just a gun.
Fine.
He just made a gun.
Does.
Made a fat gun.
Oh, here we go. My gun. By special radiation. Causes the body to absorb moisture from the air at an incredible rate.
Holy
swells
crap.
its victim like a balloon.
Come on. So it gives them water weight?
So he shot him with this ray gun. Yeah. And we see the Flash in the same panel just start getting really big and balloon up. Then,
so if you already take water pills, this won't hurt you?
No, you should be fine.
Okay.
But then,
gotcha.
Something that's not explained, I don't know how to answer this, but apparently Gorilla Grodd has magic powers, and he has a little bit of his magic left as William Dawson to make the Flash forget who he is.
Oh, wow.
So with amnesia...
He's got a Men in Black built in his head.
With amnesia, Gorilla Grodd, William Dawson, takes Flash back to the sideshow and the circus he was at, and leaves him there for people to come and look at him. And the Flash,
look at the 1,000-pound Flash.
Yeah, and people don't know who he is. Or he doesn't know who he is. So he sits there, he's like, why are people laughing at me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
And they're like, oh, it's so funny. He's probably so slow, and they dressed him up like the Flash, but they don't know it's the real Flash.
Gotcha.
Then, as the Flash is walking by one day,
that seems like a seamless plan. I mean, that's gonna.
Then, as the Flash is walking around the circus one day, he walks by the Hall of Mirrors, and he sees himself skinny, and he realizes, wait, I wasn't always like this. I used to be skinny in the Flash, and I fought crime. So
all it took was a funhouse mirror.
So then he walks over to his plan of how he's going to get skinny again, Mike. He walks over to a place called that has a billboard that says, for instant delight, eat dehydrated potatoes.
Dehydrated potatoes.
That's right. He sits in a place with a potato dehydrator.
Potato chips?
And he sweats out all the excess weight.
Is that not what we're talking about? Potato chips?
I think so, yeah. They're called dehydrated potatoes at the time. But look at that, just
coming out of it. That's gross.
Right? Well, then...
he's a sweaty boy.
He shows back up to see William Dawson, and he's still fat. And you think...
yeah, where did it all go?
It didn't work. Well, that's where the pin comes in.
That's the problem with dehydrated potatoes.
It doesn't work.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
So he pulls out a pin and he pokes himself to reveal that he only blew his suit up.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Come on. I try very hard not to use the F word, but damn it. Come on, he popped himself.
He did. Well, no, he had already shrank down and he blew his suit back up to make Dawson think he was still fat, and then popped himself.
What a wonderful plan!
And dived and caught him and took him out.
So much difference.
And then that's it. That's the end of that story. Yeah. He catches, Gorilla Grodd as William Dawson, and they take him to jail.
All right. Great.
Our second one, real quick, and then we'll take a short little break, is a Superboy story. We know you love Superboy.
He's a turd.
This one, it's going to be a little bit quicker, but it's very, very interesting. It's
He's
about
fighting Boba Fett.
the Rainbow Raider.
Oh.
So we see this guy. I just had to put that in to make the printing work out. It's just a random.
Look at Ollie.
Yeah. So it shows Superboy. Well, you know how they always like to give away part of the story.
Sure,
so we'll skip past it. But we see we're inside this jewelry store, and there's a painter painting a wall behind him. I guess it's getting ready for an opening, like a jewelry store opening.
Terrible name for a villain or hero.
Well, it's
Rainbow
because
Raider.
the diamond thing on top of his head emits
He's got
like
a disco
rainbow
ball on
ray.
his head.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the Pontiac logo on his belt.
But this guy walks in, and they're like, it looks like one of these crazy, costume guys is after us. And he essentially looks at them all.
Crazy costume guys.
He essentially looks at the guys, and he's like, excuse me, gentlemen, how about you dump all of your diamonds here into this bag? And they're like, oh, sure, of course we will.
Sure, Rainbow Boy.
And they do it, and he leaves with all of it. And as soon as they leave, they're like, what did we do?
Yeah.
We were under control of his rainbow ray.
The rainbow will do it.
Yeah. So they called the cops to tell them what happened, and they gets outside to the cops, and Rainbow's like, he says, all right, you're not going any further. And then the next panel, they're taking the bags to his getaway car for him. And he's like, thank you, gentlemen, for carrying it for us. Essentially, this Rainbow Raider is able to use the gem disco ball on his head, as Mike calls it, to essentially just tell people what to do.
He's a little thicker than most bad guys.
He is.
Like its suit seems very...
Very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is going on here?
That's where the cops are carrying the jewels to his getaway car.
I mean, what is going on specifically right here around his crotch area?
I didn't notice that till just.
It looks like he's carrying a sack of potatoes under his belt.
So,
I mean, God bless him, but
then we see a second hijinks ensue. We see a dinner scene with Ma and Pa Kent and Superboy there at the
big
table.
headline says crime is a breeze for Rainbow Raider as victims in law gladly cooperate.
So we see now that Rainbow Raider shows up at a football game.
Yeah, steals the ball.
And he tells the clerk there, hey, just empty the toll or, the
That's where you're going to make your big money. You go to a football game in the 40s or whenever this was.
Where everybody's at.
Oh, you collect
the
a
gate?
dime per person? Come on.
He's like, give me the gate. And they're dumping it in the bag. He's gladly cooperating.
12,000 dimes.
He goes to make the getaway, and he's running kind of through the field, and the players see him, and they're like, oh, we should go ahead and tackle him.
Yeah.
But Superboy's in, and he's like, Superboy, take me to safety. And Superboy's like, oh, of course. And as he's
Rainbow
flying
Boy.
away, Rainbow Warriors the Rainbow Raider is heard saying,
like it matters.
I could have gotten the football players under my control, but they have been too close. They would have still hurt me, and they're just adoration for me.
Yeah.
So then he has them drop him off, and he flies away.
I've got enough football players following me.
And there's a radio report that even Superboy can't stop
the
Rainbow Raider because he's able to control our Superboy.
He is the dumbest villain that I've seen today.
The big mob boss at the time here in Smallville, whoever he is, gets word like, hey, we need to see if this guy's an alien.
Boss Mobby.
And that's how he's Boss Mobby. That's how he's able to control everybody. Or if he's a human, then we got to see what his thing is, like how he's able to do it.
Let's see his
thing.
They
set up like a fake...
Keep going. I'm sorry. There's one scene that I really love.
So they set up a fake jewelry store, and they let them in. And as they walk
fake jewelry store.
They cut the lights.
So
and as
stupid.
they cut the lights, they're able to set up an X-ray, and they see he has
it's the X-ray thing that's killing me.
And they know, oh, he is a human. Now we can try to work with him.
You see the human skeleton, but on his head is still the big bucket that he wears or whatever.
Yeah. And so they like, all right, work with us. And he's like, no, I work alone. And the guys then come in and they grab the diamond, and they're like, well, fine, if you're not going to work with us.
Off the top of his head.
Yeah, off the top of his head. We'll use your little disco ball here to keep people under our control then. Yeah. All of a sudden, Superboy comes in and rounds up all the mobsters, but protects the Rainbow Raider. And he takes all the mobsters out to leave. To put them up in the police wagon.
Sure.
And as he locks them up, the cops go, that's such a brilliant plan of you, Superboy, to have this Rainbow Raider guy as a fake supervillain to draw the mob out so we would know where they would be at. He was like, We only pretended to go along with doing what he wanted to.
That's a couple of leaps.
Now let's see who the Rainbow Raider is.
Yeah, sure.
And they go and unmask him, and Superboy's like, no, nobody must ever know who the Rainbow Raider is.
You can't see who the Rainbow Raider is.
You want to know why? Because the Rainbow Raider's Pa Kent.
So this was a plan all along?
The plan all along was to have Pa Kent dress up like a superhero, or a supervillain.
Oh,
and
that's
walk
why he's a thick boy.
Yeah, and ask people to do things. And Superboy always told him, hey, when this weird guy comes in, just do what he says. That was their plan to get the mob out of hiding.
That is bullshit, is what that is.
All right. That's the perfect place for us to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our Silver Age shenanigans right after this.
Rainbow Raider.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.
And we are back.
Ooh, I'm refreshed.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our last two Silver Age shenanigans stories for us here. And the first one is from, we're going out of order a little bit. This one's from November of 1967, and it's Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, issue number 79. I didn't say it on the last one, but it was Superboy issue number 84 from October of 1960.
Okay.
So
and
we're jumping up 7
again?
years.
I'm sorry. This
67 of November of 67.
Is that the Red Hood?
No, it is Titan Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Red Hood's Marvel, isn't it?
Red Hood is DC, but that's Batman.
Who's the guy that fought against Captain America?
Red Skull.
No, not Red Skull. There's a guy who puts on a purple hood. Who's that? Who's the purple hood guy? Zemo.
Okay.
I love his TVs.
So let's get into the reason I included this story. It's just a quick little.
Yeah.
But the cover, I love Jerk Superman. And it's Lois Lane. Looks like she's getting married to Titan Man, featuring the bride of Titan Man. And Lois says, Superman, stop my wedding to Titan Man. I just found out the terrible secret his mask is hiding. And Superman says, serves you right for choosing him over me, Lois. Marry him.
Wow, what a dick.
Right? Spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with what's under his mask. That's the problem.
No, it's what's under his belt.
No, not that either. We'll get to it. So the story is Lois is at the paper and Jimmy is talking to some skinny girl named Twiggy, I guess rightfully so. And he's like, oh, all these dudes
Her
just
name
want...
is Twiggy?
Her name, I don't know if it's a nickname or not.
You know, that was a supermodel like in the 60s.
Yeah. And Lois is just like, oh, that's what all these guys want. And then there's this guy who looks like he's supposed to be washing windows, but really has a ray. He's from the Anti-Superman Syndicate, and he's been offered 50 grand. Anti-Superman Syndicate.
What the
and he's been offered 50 grand to try out their new annihilation ray. Well, they shoot it, and it hits Superman, and it bounces off of him, and it hits Lois, and she's taken to a different dimension, where the Daily Planet is now called the Daily Dimension. Perry White no longer works there as editor. Instead, he has a pizza place called Perry's Pizza Parlor.
Pizza Parlor.
And it's him tossing pizza.
PPP.
And Lois is like, I know it. I've been taken to a different world that's close to mine, but different.
Oh.
But then she sees all those skinny girls are there, and they're laughing at her because she's a bit thicker. Look at her.
You got hips.
Yeah. Oh, look at her figure.
Human.
She's ridiculous, right? Then all these cops show up.
She is not big, by the way.
No, not at all. She is
not
skinny,
at all. She looks like Veronica in this thing
from Archie.
Yeah.
Then the
just this girl I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, she looks like.
Then the cops show up, and the cops are all little people.
Why do they have such giant helmets?
But they are drawn comically, and they called them midgets throughout this whole thing.
Sure.
But Lois mistakes them for kids as they try to grab, like, hey, miss, you're causing a scene. Like, you need to move on before you start something. And one of them grabs her, and she goes, kid, keep your hands off me. And she pushes and shoves him down.
Oh.
And so they take her in, like they shoot her with a ray that disorients her and like kind of knocks her out.
Midget ray.
And it takes 4 of them to carry her to the car.
Their hats are so big. Hey, do you think they had to change the name of those tiny cars? Like, you know those midget racing cars?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like there's actual midget racing cars, right? Where they're smaller cars.
Yeah, I
more
don't
compact.
know if they have a different
I wonder
name
if they
for
had
that
to
now.
change them.
Maybe. I don't know. So Lois wakes
putters.
up in a jail cell where she finds out that their thing is they think that if you see what you did, it'll cause you to repent. So you're left in your cell with a giant picture of what you did. So that's
Why
a
is Mo
picture.
Fine on the other side of this?
That's her cellmate next to her. But so she's reminded of repent your crime. It's a picture of her pushing the person down. But she notices a guy working out outside.
That is ridiculous.
Who looks like super buff, and he comes up like he can read her mind, and he rescues her, and he reveals himself to be Titan Man, and he seems to kind of be the Superman of this world.
This is the
Mask guy on the cover.
well, what I'm saying is this is a like
Blonde
a
Clark
co-ed
Kent.
prison.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So she
How
falls.
progressive.
She falls kind of in love at first sight with Titan Man, and he helps her escape this jail.
She loves his big T.
And puts her mask on, and he goes to his planet, and he announces to everybody that I've chosen a bride, and
How do you get out
everybody
of jail?
loves. He had
He's just
shown
hanging
there.
out at the jail?
He was from a different planet. He came there to just study people on that planet, so he let
At the
himself
jail.
he let himself get captured.
How'd she get out? He
broke
busted her out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he announces to his planet, "Hey, I'm taking a bride," and everybody's excited.
You didn't mention the fact she's in a giant ball.
Well,
either.
that's how he.
She's in a big hamster ball.
Yeah, well, he protected her with that energy to take her from one planet
In
to
a
the
hamster
next,
ball.
because she might not be able to,
Okay. Sure.
survive that. But then when she shows up for the wedding, she has 7 bridesmaids because when they met, he was like, "Oh, you're lucky number 8," and she goes, "It's funny, 8's always been my lucky number," and he's like, "Oh, it's so." So they come out, and all the bridesmaids are wearing 7, and she's like, "Why are there?" And he's like, "Because you're gonna be wife number 8," and he hands her
Yuck.
the 8.
Oh, come on.
And she's like, "No,
Titan
you're-
Man's got a whole bunch of
you're
wives?
You're into polygamy."
No, she doesn't say that.
Where's this at? Hold on. Yep.
Does she say polygamy?
Only now does Lois learn that she's come to a planet where polygamy is legal.
Oh, come on.
And Titan Man says, "How lucky I was to meet you, the girl with 8 letters in her name, the same as I, the girl whose lucky number is 8, the girl fate has chosen to be my number 8 wife." And she goes, "Gas, but I don't want to be his 8th wife. I want to be his number 1 and only wife." Right?
She got 7 killings to
So
do.
here's what I love. He lays it out for her, like how it's going to work out. He goes, or for her, "Lois, darling, won't it be great? I can picture our married life now. Since you'll be my 8th wife, naturally I'll see you every 8th day.
What?
You'll be
Naturally.
8th.
Naturally.
You'll be 8th in line for everything." And Lois says, "The food never reaches number 8. I'll starve."
She's also kind of screwed on
dances-
February.
Yeah, at dances, you'll dance every 8th dance with me.
Oh.
And then she's like, "No, I don't want to." And Titan Man's, "Well, that's fine. I'll just use my tranquilizer rays to make you just be
How
fine."
many dances
to marry
are
me."
there? That 8 seems like a lot of dances.
It does. Superman shows up at the wedding, and Lois begs him, "Please help me, Superman." And Superman's like, "Are you kidding? I'll be happy to have you married and out of my hair. I say your I do's, pretty Lois. Go ahead." And then all of a sudden, there's another,
Tornado.
No, turns out it was all a dream. She, in the scuffle,
Man,
kind of.
come on. This sucks. All a dream.
All right.
How lazy.
Yeah, very. But it's the 60s. So that brings us to our last story.
Everybody was lazy in the 60s.
And it is a Batman one. This is we're going back to May of 1962.
Is this gray
the
suit
cover date.
Batman?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I feel like something's it's okay. I see it.
Matt, what does it say on the cover?
Oh boy, it says Batman becomes Bat Baby. Oh, that's great.
What happens?
When I saw the back, I thought it was Batmite.
No, it's Bat Baby. I'm about to introduce you to DC's greatest, most underutilized villain. Are you ready for this?
We're ready.
So, this is a Batman issue where Batman gets turned into a baby. I will make it simple for this. While he just looks like a baby, he still is able to think like an adult.
I absolutely
like
love this character.
And has the strength of an adult, we found out.
Yep.
But looks like a 4-year-old.
Yep. He would do really well in that alternate universe that Lois just dreamed up.
Yes. So essentially, Batman and Robin are out on patrol one night, and they're following a guy called Nails Finney, who's obviously a mobster of some sort because in the 60s.
His name is Nails.
Yeah, that's who we go after. Well, when they barge in, they realize, are you ready for the greatest, and Mason, you too, you ready for the greatest DC underutilized villain ever, especially of Batman's Rogues Gallery?
Hang on just a second. Now.
Okay. As they bust in, we see a guy behind all the mobsters in a lab coat with some machine. And Batman says, well, look who's part of the gang. Garth, the renegade scientist.
Garth, the renegade scientist. Wonderful.
That's right. Garth, the renegade scientist.
He won't even use a test tube.
While Batman and Robin are punching the mobsters, shoots Batman with his ray here. And it shrinks Batman to a baby. So just like that, Garth is taking him out.
I'm going to mention that every one of these stories has had some sort of super secret ray in it. That's the common denominator here. Somebody gets shot with some dumbass ray.
Rays were really big in the 60s. So now he's shrunken. Robin has to carry him out like a baby so he doesn't trip.
Okay, that's the cover right there. That's wonderful.
He doesn't trip over his
Look at
costume.
This one where he's all dumpy.
He looks really dumpy as a kid. We then cut
Does he have the full-size costume, but yet he's small?
Yeah. So
is that why he looks so dumpy?
Yeah, that's why he's carrying him so he doesn't trip over and reveal...
So the secret here is that Batman has been 3 babies in a bat suit the whole time, just on top of each other's shoulder.
We cut to the Gotham Gazette, here's where Garth is even more sinister. According to this letter, Garth had a camera hidden in his machine, and it photographed Batman. Much as I hate to do it, I must print these photos. The public has the right to know the truth. So Garth,
the renegade scientist, please use his Christian name.
Not only changed him into a baby, took pictures of him as a baby and sent it to the newspapers. And the newspapers felt compelled to tell their readers the truth.
This is the first viral
that they printed it, and the head of the Gazette says, Gangland turns Batman into baby. Criminal scientist uses ray that reverses Batman's growth.
Oh, my God. Wait, reverses his growth? Like Batman was still growing?
Well, I guess they were like, they turned him into a baby. They reversed his growth. I guess that's how they described it.
That's how it works.
So, see, I will tell you, Garth, again, not only did he take out Batman rather easily, he told the newspaper how he did it. They printed it. Nothing has happened to Garth.
That's wonderful.
Right? He is untouchable, this renegade scientist.
Well, he's a renegade scientist.
But we do find out that even as small Bruce Wayne, that he has the power
small
as an
Bruce
adult,
Wayne.
But he has a massive head.
Look at him with his little hands and his big head. His head is almost as big as that bag he's hitting.
There was an old bit, I feel like it was on All That, where it was like, or maybe it was on something else or an old game that I just remember it was like human heads and like little plastic baby arms.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it kind of looks like regular, full-size adult human heads and baby arms.
Yeah.
So
there's the Saturday Night Live Lawrence Welk thing. You know, where
with the
Kristen Wiig has the tiny little baby hands and a giant forehead.
Yes. Yeah. So Batman does his suit so he can go out as Bat Baby.
He just cuts off the legs and the arms, and now he's in shorts and a little t-shirt, little bat shirt.
They go and they try to hunt down the mob. They fight crime. Robin and Bat Baby fight crime.
Sure.
He uses a gas-filled balloon to like take him to the criminals and like is able to jump down and avoid gunfire and stuff and take them out because he can punch just as like an adult.
Well, it seems like you've not really lost anything with Bat Baby.
No.
You still have the intellect. You still have the ability.
The strength and everything. Yeah. He's just tiny.
He's smaller, which I think might be a positive if you spin it the right way.
Well, and they use it to his advantage here in a bit.
Yeah. The only disadvantage I can think of is he has to be burped after every crime.
So then the Gotham papers start printing Bat Baby does okay for a kid.
Yeah.
And Bat
All right.
Baby overcomes size and crooks.
Oh,
Great headline. They're
that's a
coming
good
around
one.
on Bat
Yeah,
Baby.
they are good.
So all of a sudden, while they're still trying to hunt down Garth so they can find the Ray to reverse,
Sure.
while they're there, all of a sudden,
Please
Kathy,
tell me they make him too big
hold on.
at the end.
No,
Oh.
this is about to take
That
a
would be
turn.
great.
This is about to take a turn you didn't see
All
coming,
right,
Mike.
cool. Let's go.
Kathy Kane is there at Wayne Estate to visit Bruce. I
Kathy
guess
Kane.
Kathy Kane at the time in the comics is a love interest of some sort for Bruce.
Who is she?
I think Cassandra Kane is a Batwoman, right, Mason?
Oh.
Is it Cassandra Kane? What's her first name? Is Cassandra Kane Batwoman?
No, Cassandra Kane's one of the Batgirls. I believe she's orphan.
Okay, but who is? Yeah, then who is
Kate Kane?
Kate Kane? Kathy Kane in this though is just a love interest of Bruce. I think
There's a lot of Canes running around.
Well, I think they probably took the
Spelled
name.
different ways.
Yeah.
Is it all because of Bob Kane? I mean, is that
I don't know. Maybe, potentially,
like paying homage to?
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But
Tell you
But,
what, Bob,
so-
we'll make you a lady.
He's
who
not.
we throw away at the end of the story.
He's not listening.
Oh, Bob's not.
No, he's no longer
he
with
dead?
us. Yeah,
Oh, when did this happen?
a while. It's been a bit.
I was hoping you'd say 20 years ago.
It-
Might have been.
Hold on. I don't know if it's been that long.
it was, I believe it was like 98.
Oh wow,
99.
it has been that long.
Because I
then.
do remember the last Batman movie he saw was Batman and Robin.
Oh, that poor guy.
98.
Don't feel too
98.
bad.
Yeah, because Jack Kirby's 94, Bob Kane's 98.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Kane did a lot of good, but don't forget about Bill Finger.
Oh, for sure.
I never forget about a finger.
We've talked about that before. That there's a good documentary called Batman and Bill. out there, too.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Batman and Finger doesn't have the same.
No, it
ring to
doesn't. Not at all. So Kathy Kane shows up and she's like, "I'm here to see Bruce," and he's like, "Oh yeah, come on in, Miss Kane." And she walks around and she sees a shadow of what looks like Bruce making out with another woman, and she's like, that playboy, that kissing bug.
Kissing
I'll never
bug.
set foot in this house again." And she's so upset that she leaves. And so we see that it was just a cardboard cutout.
Yeah. Oh,
up against.
can't get enough of that.
Remember, it
The
reminded me of
cutouts in the window of the old lady's knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was that one, and then remember with the 7-Eleven one where the villain used paper cutouts. And
Oh,
he kept
yeah.
diving and tackling them, and they were just cutouts are really big in comics. You
Yeah,
never knew that.
sure.
But so they use it, and Robin's
Amazing what you
like,
can do with paper these days.
Robin goes, "She fell for it. Good thing you had that cardboard cutout prepared in advance." And he goes,
Why do they always over-explain it?
But here's the best part of it, Mike. You ready for that swerve?
Yeah.
Bruce, young Bruce, says, "She's so angry, she'll stay away from here for quite a while." Quite a while. Man, I get so country sometimes, I feel like.
Quite a while.
Yeah. "When I'm adult size again, I'll explain that the girl she saw was a cousin."
What just happened? I don't understand.
Mike, you ever kiss your cousin like that?
No, I've never kissed my cousin like that. I don't have a lot of cousins, but where is this cousin?
I don't know. He's
Is this Robin?
yeah, that's Robin. But he's like, when I
That's
get
Batman
adult,
kissing Robin.
no,
That's what that is.
he's like, when I get adult again, I'm going to tell her
Right,
the
but
girl she saw me with is just one of my cousins.
Yeah, but
That she saw me with my tongue down my
he's using
throat.
the. Oh, okay. I thought he was saying there was an actual cousin in the room.
No, he's saying, "Oh, the girl that you saw me kiss,
Yeah.
that was just my cousin."
just my cousin. Don't worry about it. We French all the time. Daddy says I'm the best.
Yeah, basically, Batman's just like, "Hey, I'm into incest, and you're cool with it, right?"
Yeah. I mean, it's a cousin. It's fine.
not a big deal.
Yeah, twice removed.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It was just, I maybe sign of the times. I've never kissed a cousin on the lips like that.
Well, that was like a thing in the 60s, though. There was always this kissing cousins kind of thing.
I guess.
You know?
Well, then they were.
It was
Essentially,
big in country music for a while, I think.
still might be. I don't listen. I don't know. So Bat
Welcome
Baby
to Zach Takes a Shit on Country Music.
be a whole podcast, man. There's some of it I like. There's a lot of it I don't.
Oh, this new stuff sucks.
But exactly. But so Bat Baby takes off his bat suit to kind of like watch for the scientists.
To get on the swing.
Yeah,
is what you're saying. Yeah.
To watch out for Garth, the radical scientist or the renegade scientist.
Radical scientist, a whole different guy. He's got a skateboard.
Yeah. Anyway, they're able to finally hunt him down, and it includes a big battle, including Bat Baby riding a giant horse
Holy
sled down a ramp.
shnikes. Look at him.
After him.
He is on one of those plastic ponies that is on a metal frame that just bounces up and down, and he's going down the effing pier, knocking bad guys down
it's
with
stairs. It stairs at a
it makes it so much better.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Look at this though. Since we're stairs so flat.
Or maybe it's a ramp.
It's a ramp. Yeah. Wheelchair accessible.
Anyway,
Tiny pony accessible.
Of course, you know what happens. They find the Ray. He changes back to big size, and then he decides to keep the Bat Baby suit as a memento.
Well, I would. You can dress your dog up in it. Whatever.
So there you go.
It's a Halloween for dogs.
Some Silver Age shenanigans for you all there.
Just a reminder of a brief childhood.
As always, you can find us on Instagram, BroFoHero. Feel free to email us, bros, foes, and heroes @gmail.com.
Yeah, do it. We dare you.
Check out the family of other podcasts that we are a part of at RogueMediaNetwork.com.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
Until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Galicon.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network